Good morning, everybody. Emily Francis here. I'm following up from last night's video about letting go and asking you to sit with what things you really want to let go of. And I got a couple of messages from the first video, so I want to take a second video and then actually do a little bit more of a few videos so that we can have tools and things to work with. I am no expert on letting go, but I am well versed in the way that our bodies adapt to emotion and hold emotion with muscle memory and the way that we can get through some healing. So I want to go through this time if it's a big deal or a little deal of what you're trying to let go of. Is it a petty mundane thing where a person that you work with or people that you're around really get on your nerves, or they say things that hurt your feelings and you're overly sensitive and you're trying to figure out how to work within that space of how do I let things go because they're just not a big deal but I can't seem to stop replaying it in my head, is different than another message that I got of how do I let go of toxic relationships or toxic friendships? How do I let go of people that I've loved in my life that no longer bring joy to my life? How do I finally release that? Because to me, that changes the wording from letting go to release. So when I think of letting go, I think of something a little bit more petty. Something more of, I've got to let this go. I keep getting upset about this, or I keep getting triggered, or this affects me in this way because I can't stop thinking about it over and over. I've got to let it go. Those are smaller. So letting go of those things is about chewing on the bone and constantly replaying situations. But I have to question, is it an anxiety response? Is it a response that you're putting something like that in there because you kind of like the drama? Which, ooh, I know people go, oh, I don't like drama. But sometimes we do. Sometimes it fills the void or a space. Sometimes we play these things and go, do I even really care? Does this really affect my life in any way except that I keep playing it over and over and chewing on the bone? Or go a little deeper. Do I keep chewing on the bone and playing something that the other person could care less? That other person is gone. They're gone from your life, potentially, right? This is a situational thing. They're gone. They have already chosen to leave. And we keep replaying the scenarios over and over, and we can't let it go. Sometimes that's the hardest one because we're locked. We're locked in on replay mode. Letting that go is a much more difficult plan of action. So we have to do a swap out. What can take over our thoughts? And can we get to a place where we're peaceful with the fact that we've been let go? That they have already chosen to leave. There's not a choice to be made here. There's just a peace to be found. That's different. Now, the last one is releasing people that no longer bring you joy, whether that's a love relationship or a friendship. I've been left behind by friends. I've left friends behind. I've had to make a decision that they really don't bring anything good to the table, and I've had people make that decision about me. And it's really a tough one. So I'm going to start. Today we're not going to do it, but I will do a cord cutting video to help us to cut some of those energetic cords that we have to people, but not today. Today I want to do the 3 questions. And I ask this a lot. It's in my book, and I'm not plugging my book. Well, I am, Healing Ourselves Whole. But I ask this question a lot because one of my main spiritual teachers asks me this all the time. And I use it still pretty much daily to get myself back on track of what's important and what am I doing? Where am I trying to go? So here's your 3 questions. Who am I? Who am I? What am I about? What are my deal breakers? What are the things that mean the most to me and what are the things that don't? What am I really here for? Who am I? You know, not I am a writer, I am a mom, but who am I? Without any identifiers, who am I? And by the way, if you go to my website, Healing Ourselves Whole, you can download this journal entry and fill it in. It's free. It's free. So you can go to it and hit journals, and it's the very first one. It's the very first entry, so you don't have to do anything else but print it out so that you have something to work with. So who am I? Number 2, what do I want? Now, this is not just, I want a Ferrari. It's nothing like that. It's not the secret, okay? It's what do I want? What do I want in my life? If you're working around toxic relationships or friendships or anybody that no longer brings you joy, then answer these questions regarding you and that person. So who am I? What am I all about? And then what do I want? Do I want them in my life? Do I not want them in my life? Do I want them in my life, but in a certain capacity? If you could set up your ideal scenario of what you want, do it. Write it down. Get really clear. Because what do I want is extremely important. Okay, and be finite with the details. What do I want? But the final question is the deal breaker question. And that is, what am I willing to do to get there? Am I willing to release them fully from my life? Am I not willing to release them, but I'm willing to relocate them to a different part of my life where they can come and go and I can love them from afar, but they can't get too close anymore. But I don't want to lose them as people all the way, which I think, honestly, this year has been really eye-opening for everybody, and it's positioned our relationships into different locations, not just because we move or change, but because we're changing. We're really growing, and people are either growing with us or they're growing out away from us, and we're growing away from them. And sometimes, more than ever, we're not lining up. But if you're not lining up with somebody, it doesn't mean you have to let them go. It just means that you need to take the time away and trust in the roots of the friendship that it'll come back when the time is right. And that's, to me, the most peaceful way. You're not totally releasing them. You're not cutting them out of your life. That's harsh. You know, you don't have to cut people off at the knees, but you can step away and relocate where they are going to live in your mind and in your heart and in your physical space. So what am I willing to do to get there? So what do I want? Who am I? What are my deal breakers? What do I want? What am I willing to do to get there? And I use this example often, and it's with work. I wanted to open a women's center because I do the lymphatic drainage, and I thought, well, if I take a lot of the prenatal classes, I could really work on people pre and post-pregnancy, and then, God forbid, if they have to deal with some health issues, swelling issues, cancer issues, things like that, it could be a whole area just for women. And I could even have childcare so that they could bring their child and not feel like they can't get away, all this stuff. I had this whole idea. And my husband said, I will fully support it, but you have to write the business proposal. You have to do the whole business plan. I'm not going to do that for you. And doing that business plan made me realize I don't want to do that at all. I want to paint the walls and make it pretty and show up, but I don't want to do the business side at all. I don't want to own it. I don't want to deal with the stress of it. I don't want to be gone 10 hours a day. It actually made me realize on the what am I willing to do to get it that I don't want it. So when you really make an action plan around what am I willing to do to get there, it will decide for you which parts you really want and which parts you think you want or you like to daydream about. You know, everybody has secret life. I wish I was this. I wish I could do this. Everybody has a chance to make that life happen, but how much are you willing to do to get there? I write books. It is daunting. Each book is a daunting task. Why do I get so excited when somebody writes a book, start to finish? Them, not compilation of different things. I'm talking about a person that sits down and writes a book from the beginning to the end and gets it all the way to publish. 2% of the world's population gets it published. 2%. Because it's a daunting task. And it's easy to walk away halfway through and go, I am so tired of talking about this subject. I think I've done what I need to do. And it's over. And that's fine. But what are you willing to do to get there is your deciding factor. So I want you to sit with this even further on the letting go and decide for yourself if this is something petty. Let's talk about that. Is it causing jaw problems? Do we need to work on that? Is it a person that has already left your life but you keep replaying? Or is it that you're making a choice, that you're relocating different relationships because you're putting yourself first? And then let's talk about that. So the next video might be the cord cutting one. I'm not sure. Depends on how many messages I get. So let's keep going with this and see what we can do to work through some of the things, because your body tells you. How do you feel when you're around these people? How do you feel when you think about these things? Why do you think your jaws hurt after you keep replaying the scenario over and over? These things are effective tools to start listening to what your body already knows, because your body already knows. So let's go there. Who are you? What do you want? What are you willing to do to get there? Go to healingourselveswhole.com. healingourselveswhole.com and download that journal. Just print it out and fill it out and see if it helps guide you. And then let's move to the next step. I hope that that's helpful.